What's going on, y'all? Blue Falcon here, coming to you for another video. So, you guys, I really hope that you're able to actually hear me today because this video is actually going to be very important. It's about spiritual maturity. I was really meditating on that term, spiritual maturity. And, before I even get started, let me just say this, right? The Bible has more books than just the 66 books. All right. Now, why is that even important? Because if you read in some of these books that was taken out by the Roman Catholic Church, but hey, do some research on it. But if you read these books, like in the Apocrypha, there's a book called The Wisdom of Solomon. And it's interesting because in the Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2, I'm gonna try to read it carefully. And I won't be too long, but I just really want you to focus on something here today because I guarantee you it will bless you if you're actually able to hear what I'm actually saying. So you can see here in Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2, it says that, verse 1, "For the ungodly said, reasoning within themselves, but not aright, our life is short and tedious, and in the death of a man there is no remedy. Neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave. For we are born at all adventure, and we shall be hereafter as though we had never been. For the breath in our nostrils is as smoke, and a little spark in the movement of our heart." You see, so why is this important? This is important because, as you can see, the mindset of the ungodly, the enemy of your soul, they believe that life is short, right? And because life is short, what you will see is that they are going to try to live life in such a way that is completely contrary to the will of the Most High, rather than trying to actually exercise some level of discipline in their lives, rather than trying to actually seek after righteousness. What they're going to do is that they're going to live a life of debauchery, and they're gonna live a life of sin because they just want to live it up. I mean, after all, YOLO, you only live once, so let's live it up to the extreme, right? So check this verse. If we jump down to verse 5, it says, "For our time is a very shadow that passeth away, and after our end there is no returning, for it is fast sealed, so that no man cometh again." 6. "Come on, therefore, let us enjoy the good things that are present, and let us speedily use the creatures like as in our youth." So as you can see here, right? You see, this is the mindset of the wicked. Because life is so short, I'ma just live life the way I want to live it, right? And they don't have no regard for anybody. They'll use anybody as they please, right? They said, let us use the creatures like as in youth, right? So they have no regard for anybody. They only care about themselves. But this is why is this linked to spiritual maturity? Because I'm going to jump down. And mind you, when I'm jumping forward in these verses, please do your own due diligence and actually read the chapter for yourself, right? Because I'm just a man. But read these scriptures for yourselves and hopefully let these scriptures, which is a living word, speak to you. But if we jump to verse 13, you can see it says, "Therefore, let us lie in wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn. He is clean contrary to our doings. He upbraideth us with our offending the law, and objective to our infamy the transgressions of our education. He professeth to have the knowledge of God, and he calleth himself the child of the master. He was made to reprove our thoughts." You see, this is what you need to understand, right? And this is why it's linked to spiritual maturity. You see, you fundamentally, as a child of the King, your very existence it convicts the wicked. By you walking in light, it's a constant reminder that the enemy of your soul, that those who wish to oppress you, that they're living in darkness. And they can't stand you. Why? Because they can't stand that you actually have laws, statutes, and commandments, right? Laws that you actually stand upon. That although they are running around and seeking debauchery, you are actually going to stand on your morals, and they can't stand it. So this is what they do. They try to oppress you because they want to test your resolve. They try to oppress you because they want to see how much does this person truly believe in the Most High. Will they actually stand for the Most High? And I'm going to prove it to you. Let's keep going. You see, if we go to verse 19, it says, "Let us examine him with despitefulness and torture, that we may know his meekness and prove his patience." You see, that's all it is. Now, why is this important in spiritual maturity? Because if you are going through a trial or a tribulation in your life, and you are accustomed to complaining, fundamentally it shows that you are spiritually not mature. You just not, because you have not yet understood the assignment. You have not yet understood how the Most High works. You see, you are trying to actually make it into the kingdom, right? And with all the glory and the splendor that exists in the kingdom, do you think you would deserve it if you wasn't tested? Do you think you would deserve all that the Most High has to offer if you never been through any type of trial? You see, this is the thing, right? A lot of you are accustomed to murmuring, griping, complaining. Why? Because things get a little bit tough. And you don't understand that this life is designed to test you, to see if you will retain your resolve and will you retain your patience in the Most High. You see, this is why Jesus said, when he comes back, shall he find faith? Will he find faith? Will he? Because it's easy to talk and say, oh, I believe in Jesus, I believe in God, I believe in the Most High. It's easy to say that when everything is green. It's easy to say that when everything is all nice and dandy. But what happens when you start to get tested? Will you still remain that resolve? You see, this is why we have accounts like Job, right? And y'all probably all read Job before. Y'all know what happened, right? You see, in the story of Job, you had Satan present himself to the Most High. And the Most High is asking Satan, hey, whence comest thou? Satan, well, from walking to and fro on this earth, right? And what did the Most High say? Have you considered my servant Job? This is the kicker, though. This is the kicker. And read it for yourselves. He said, one who is perfect, upright, and eschews evil. Now, check this out. Can you believe that? Now, I'm going to break this. I'm going to go slower. That is the testimony that the Most High had of Job. And Job had not even finished his course yet. He was still living life. But yet, the Most High had a testimony of Job. One who was perfect, upright, eschews evil. And I'm here to tell you today that the Most High has that same testimony for a lot of you today. A lot of you. And this is what Satan does, right? Well, Job only has this level of faith in you because you've given him everything he wants. But surely if you persecute him, if you take all that you have given him away, he will curse you to your face. Right? And the Most High says, all right, I'll take that bet. You can do whatever you want to Job. You can do whatever you want to Job, but you can't touch his soul. And I submit to you again, this is the same thing that's going on today. You see, the Most High, he already has so much confidence in you. And his testimony of you is so great. And you don't realize that when you lose your job, you may have lost your children, may lost your family, whatever the case may be. And you're looking at it from the standpoint of, woe is me. Oh, why is everybody against me? And the moment you do that, you proving Satan right. Oh, but I didn't curse the Most High. Well, hey, you sure not giving him any glory? You sure not giving him any glory? I mean, if the Most High giving you everything, what's the problem with losing it? You see, and that's what Job understood. You see, Job understood, hey, naked I came into this world, and naked I will come out. Right? Naked I'll leave. You see, so why are you so distraught? Why are you so worried when you're going through a trial? And what's so sad, Job did not have the book of Job to reference. He didn't have all these patriarchs and all these great men of Yah to actually read. He was going through it. He was the forerunner. He was going through it. But we, thousands of years later, we have all these accounts of people who have been tested. And you would think it would it would help us in our faith, in our walk. Well, we could look at these books and be like, you know, if I'm going through something, you know, that is extremely tough and difficult in my life, let me just retain my resolve. Let me just be patient. But what we do, we complain. We run to mommy and daddy and every other man, asking them for help. And that's how you end up cursing the Most High. Because you don't trust in him. You don't put your trust in him. You don't understand what this walk is about. Because you are spiritually immature. I'm going to share this one last thing with you, right? You see, Joseph. When Joseph was put into prison, again, you should really read some of these hidden books. This is why I mentioned it in the beginning. Because there's another hidden book called the Book of Jasher. Which, mind you, let me just drop this nugget in there. You know, the book of Jasher is actually referenced in the Bible. How come it's not in the Bible that we read today? Who took it out? And the Bible says anybody that adds or take away from this book shall be cursed. Who in the world took out these books? Anyway, get back on track. So there's a book called Jasher. And you know what's so interesting about this book? Because it goes over in great detail what actually happened to Joseph when he was in prison. In greater detail than the Genesis account. And what actually happened? You know, Joseph was put in prison. He was in Egypt. And at this particular point in time, he's been in prison for about 10 years. Now, this is what's so interesting about the situation, right? Because there was a butler and there was a baker. And the butler and the baker had these dreams, if you guys recall, right? And they were tormented because they didn't have no interpretation for the dream. And Joseph ends up interpreting the dream for them. Now, this is what's so interesting about it. Because Joseph ends up saying, hey, please, when you go back to Pharaoh, please just remember me so I can be taken out of this place. I mean, after all, you've been in prison for 10 years. I mean, wouldn't you want to be taken out? No, let's keep it a buck. Wouldn't you want to be taken out of prison? Especially if you were put there unjustly. I mean, you were sold into prison by your brothers, right? Now you were never a slave. Now you have to be a slave. I mean, wouldn't you want freedom? But look what the Most High viewed it. How the Most High viewed it. So look what Jasher chapter 46 has to say. I'm going to start from verse 19. And the butler to whom Joseph had interpreted his dream forgot Joseph, and he did not mention him to the king as he had promised. For this thing was from the master in order to punish Joseph, because he had trusted in man. And Joseph remained after this in the prison house 2 years, until he had completed 12 years. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? You're in prison for 10 years, a decade, and because you did something as seemingly harmless as asking people to just remember you, to take you out of prison. Please, just remember me. And what happens? Because he put his trust in man, the Most High ends up punishing him by leaving him in prison for an extra 2 years. Again, a lot of times people, they lose heart when they're in their trial. They lose heart when they're in tribulation. And rather than seeking the Most High, you know who they seek? They seek man. They seek the over-the-counter medications, prescription drugs. They seek all these things outside of the Most High. And I'm here to tell you, guys, in the midst of your trial, seek the King. And he will bless you. Why? Because his testimony from the beginning is one of you already overcoming. He already said you were righteous, like he said about Job. He already said you upright. He already said you eschew evil. You get what I'm saying? But you have to retain your resolve. Don't grow weary in well doing. Endure to the end like a good soldier. I mean, there's so many verses that talk about this, but ultimately, guys, you can't give up and you can't grow faint-hearted. This walk is literally designed to test you, and you're going to go through shit. Some of you guys might just get so butthurt and offended just because I said that word alone. And if you are one of those individuals, I'm not here for you. I'm here for the people that understand fundamentally that you are designed to overcome if you actually retain your resolve, retain your trust in the Most High. Don't trust in man. Don't trust in man. Trust in the creator of the universe. Look, I hope somebody's actually hearing this. I really hope someone is actually hearing this. You have to learn to become spiritually mature. Stop taking everything as some type of attack against you. And stop taking everything as, oh, woe is me, and start crying and start running to man for help. No. Quit ye like men. That's what the Bible says. Quit ye like men. Gird yourself by the loins. You get what I'm saying? Trust in Jesus, Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ. Trust in him. For his yoke is easy and his burden is light. Man. Anyway, I hope somebody got edified by this. You guys become spiritually mature, all right? Not everything that's not going your way is the end of the world. Matter of fact, start wearing it like a badge of honor and know that the Most High found you worthy enough to go through this trial. Why? Because he actually believes that you can overcome. And that in the spiritual realm, whatever bet that's going on between the Most High and Satan, prove the creator of the universe, the Most High. Prove him right and prove Satan wrong. Don't make Satan win this war by proving that you're going to faint just because of a little bit of temptation and a little bit of trial. Keep your resolve. Be spiritually mature. Anyway, with that being said, Blue Falcon over and out. The message sent. Jesus is King, y'all.